This conference will now be recorded.
So welcome to day 5. Today we'll be covering BSI part of US payroll. So till now we have whatever we have covered, that is basics of different tax. We have seen tax reportings, various tax reportings, and these things. But BSI is more of a third-party vendor, and that is very tightly integrated with SAP. So most of the tax calculations in most of the US organizations, so it happens through BSI. Okay. So for that, it is essential to understand the concept of BSI. And today we'll be focusing basic concept of BSI, then how we will integrate BSI with SAP US payroll. Okay. So when I say SAP US payroll, there are two versions of it. One is on-premise. Second one is your cloud SAS, the software as a service, that is the EC payroll. Okay. So both the points I'll be touching upon, and we will be going in details of this BSI today itself. Okay. And so, as I was mentioning, the objective of this session is to understand how to implement integration of BSI SaaS solution with SuccessFactors Employee Central Payroll, as well as we'll be covering on-premise payroll as well. Okay, but most probably, if you're working in an EC payroll environment, you will be having this SaaS or BSI SaaS solution integration. Okay? And we will be going details of it. But more details you can always explore BSI official website, because the time to time they get upgrade. It gets they update the very all the important things. It's very interactive. The same means in the right hand side, if you want specific things, there will be a plethora of options like here. What you would like to understand, you would like to understand which part of BSI. Conceptually, you can. It is a very informative. You can explore the BSI website in details. Okay, even some of the key information I have taken it from BSI website, official website. Other than that, so the latest one. So there are different editions of BSI, but at present, the latest edition is the BSI Text Factory 11.0. Okay, that is the this is the screenshot which I have taken from one of the latest SAP KBA knowledge based article. If you refer this KBA, they have two things. Okay, as per the notifications for legal changes, they have released two SAP notes or two SAP link. You can see one is your for on-premise, another one is for your SaaS offering, that is your cloud EC payroll. Okay, so we'll be seeing all those details, and there are two reference the same note I have mentioned here, which exactly you have to refer. And there is a blog, dedicated blog for Tax Factory 11.0. Okay, I'll be taking you through how this, what are the informations are available there. So it is written by one of the SAP US payroll product team. Okay, so whatever the new changes comes up, so they will actually update in this the blog. Or if you have any queries also, which is related to your Tax Factory BSI, that you can always comment there, and they will be definitely answering that. Okay, so it is an official blog which you can refer, and it is a go-to blog for anything related to the latest Tax Factory BSI 11.0. Okay, so having said that, I will now go deep dive into the architecture. Okay, so I'll just zoom it this picture so that you can relate it.
Can the screen be bigger?
Yeah, well, just a minute. I will just, otherwise let me put it in a slideshow format from current slide. Can you see it properly now?
Much better.
Okay. So you can see there are two bigger box. And this is actually now I'm focusing on the EC payroll, the SaaS offering integrations. Okay. The on-premise one is I will come back later. I'll directly show in the system. Okay. Because the system which we have received that doesn't have the EC payroll part. That BSI SaaS is not there. That I will show in my system. But for on-premise, I will show in that system which we have received on the team. Okay. But when it comes to the SaaS offering, that integrations, how it looks like. So you can see there are two parts. One is your, so basically three box you can say. First one, bigger one is the SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central in the left hand side. Second one, you can see business software INC, that is nothing but your BSI. And the third one is your SAP success factor employee central payroll. Okay, so when we have discussed this EC to ECP integration, that we have already aware of, like point to point replication, how it happens and all that we are already aware of. But new thing is here BSI part, business software INC. And when I say business software INC, BSI, they have different product offerings. Okay, so one is your text profile factory, another is your text factory. Okay, so what is the basic difference between these two? I will just explain. Okay, so as the name suggests, text profile factory. Okay, profile means it refers to an employee's profile. Okay, so for that reason, you will be seeing text profile factory is linked to your employee central. Okay, so that is your text link to text profile factory. So you can see there is something called text UI. Okay, so what is that embedded UI? So in your employee central, in success factor employee central, wherever you are in the people profile or the employee profile, if you are seeing, there will be a text link there. Okay, just like the pay statement and all. Okay, similarly there will be a UI, and from that UI that can be linked to your text profile factory. That means, what does that mean? So we have name, employee details. Okay, all those details can be linked with your text profile factory. Okay, so how it happens? So these two are connected to each other, embedded UI, text UI to your text profile factory. Okay, so basic details of an employee, like employee details, it will be via, it will be connected to each other. Similarly, we have something called text factory. Okay, so text factory is directly, it is connected to your EC payroll engine. Okay, so how they communicate to each other? So in text factory, once it is connected to payroll, EC payroll engine, they communicate to each other via a web service. So web service means this APIs and all, which we have discussed earlier, the same thing which integrates your ECP in EC, any third party integrations. Okay, so via web service, they can communicate to each other, whether it is a text factory to payroll engine, or it is a text profile factory to your success factor employee central payroll. Okay, so how it works, like in success factor employee central, you have all the tax related details of an employee that goes to your tax profile factory, and from the tax profile factory via web services, it goes to your PA module. You can see there is a P inside your EC payroll, because that is an on-premise only. Okay, the PA detail, there are specific info types and all related to whichever we have discussed, those tax related info types. It will update those details. Okay, so once it is done, then via your point-to-point replication, okay, it will replicate in your EC employee central. Okay, so in this way, how the entire mechanism works. Okay, in this total high-level architecture of your BSI interface. Okay, so any understanding, any query here?
I just, what is the flow then? What is the flow? Okay, these are, I think I'm getting the different components, but how do they work together?
Okay, so that I will, whenever I'll discussing the configuration part, you will be better understanding. But this is at a high level. Okay, like it is kind of a BSI inside. There will be an interface like in your employee central itself, success factor employee central. That will be connected. So that will be first point. Okay, that will be connected to via a content link. There will be just a URL. That is a service which I was telling, right? That unified configuration, payroll unified configuration. Via that content link, you will be connected to your text profile factory. Okay, so via, once your text profile factory is updated, depending upon the data which you have in the employee central, okay, then it will go to your PA, and from PA again it will be updating via, there are some native Java portlets. Okay, portlets are, these are nothing but your different info types in your on-premise virtual, where we are calling info types, we call it native Java portlets. So those portlets will be getting updated via your point-to-point replications. Okay, this is the way how it will be connected to each other and all. But anyway, you will be better understand whenever I'll be going into the details of this. Okay. Okay. So the text profile factory, as I was mentioning, what does it do? So as it mentions, it automatically maintains your employee text profile. Okay, whether you are belong to federal or the state or local, what are the things are for you? Okay, so basically it is a what text profile factory means. It's connected to your employee central people profile, and it generally they have another terminology called inside the text profile factory. They have something called text locator. Text locator is again, it is specific to BSI. Okay, depending upon your zip code, okay, wherever you are living or you are working, depending upon that, it has already pre-calculated, means different adjustment, tax payment, tax filings, W2 data, all those will be automatically, those profiles are created depending upon your if you have subscribed to tax locator as well. Okay, as a part of the BSI package. Okay, then it will be updating those details for you as well. So that is the concept of a text profile factory and the tax locator. Okay, so ideally, employers and employees both have this application. Text Profile Factory is a SaaS solution, as I was mentioning. Okay, it integrates to with your cloud as well as your on-prem solutions. Okay, and all these are maintained by BSI, so do not have to worry about it. It is a truly cloud and multi-tenant solution, and requires no application, additional application to integrate all those things. Okay, so for that reason, 99% of the organization in US, they use this as a tax profile factory and for BSI. Yeah. And same goes with your tax factory as well. So tax factory also, it has a built-in tax locator. Okay, so it will be updating your payroll related data. Okay, tax factory, so as I was mentioning, tax profile factory is related to employee related data, employee related tax related data. Tax factory is more related to your enhancing those payroll related EC payroll tax processes and all. So it will connect to both the system, and you will be getting those. That was it. And what are the different vendors? So at present, you can see BSI has different partners. Whether you are using SAP or you are using a Workday or any other. So these are the more major in their website. You will be finding all these partners. So SAP is one of the major. You can see this number is more than 282,000 customers worldwide. It is more than and growing and all. So BSI has a tight integration with your SAP US payroll. Okay. So now next is when it comes to the integration piece, what are the different configurations and what are the different prerequisites that we'll be seeing in the upcoming slides. So first of all, there will be certain prerequisites which will be done inside your BSI, like you should have a proper BSI license. Okay, then you register your company or client company with BSI, then you create a technical user, like how to create a technical user. That's again a part of your success factor side, but again you have to mention the same thing for BSI as well. Then you establish a single sign-on SSO with BSI for these integrations, but you have to take help from your BSI team as well as your IT technical IT team and SAP basis team. You may take help from them because installing all those you may require, but it is not very difficult. From my experience, actually, it is not very difficult. Okay, you can also take it, but ideally it is done by SAP basis team as well as client IT infrastructure team. They generally take care of this initial integrations, initial setup. But as a success factor consultant, you have to take care of these two boxes. Okay, SAP success factor employee central and SAP success factor employee central payroll side. What are the things you'll be doing? Okay, it is very simple. Like you have to configure the permissions. Okay, suppose there will be a dedicated person who will be taking care of for BSI only. Okay, so as I was mentioning, whenever you are discussing employee central payroll, you have different roles like your payroll administrator, payroll manager. So you may require to create an additional role. Otherwise, your if your payroll manager will be taking care of it, you can give that permission related to BSI permission. You can give it to the payroll manager or payroll administrator, depending upon your client requirement. Okay, but you can create different configure different permissions for this BSI. Okay, once it is done, then you will be enabling those system access, configuring the different links. That will be seeing you once again. We'll revisit in SuccessFactors what are the things we'll be doing. And once it is done, then inside your BSI text profile factory, okay, so there is certain configuration to be done inside your BSI text. That is a simple web-based application. So in that, you have to make the connections and all, and there are some initial import. And for that, you can take help from your BSI counterpart, okay, because there will be a dedicated customer service team from your BSI third party solution provider. They will be interacting with you. You'll be working closely with them. Okay. Once your EC setup is done or EC payroll setup is done, then you can connect with them, like how to establish a connection between your BSI text profile factory to your payroll system. Okay. So that you can interact with them and you can set up that. So this blue color box, you can have to require a coordination between two. Okay. But when it comes to the employee central payroll, it is more or less similar, which you have already seen earlier. Like there is specific business functions. Okay, the way we have seen for payroll control center, there are a couple of business functions, like starting from 50 to 107, I believe. So there is specific business function for BSI as well that I will show you. So that you have to activate. That is a one-time activity. Once that is done, then you have to configure specific communication user. Means from the way we have created a technical user in SuccessFactors side, similarly we have to create a communication user in our EC payroll as well. Okay, and we have to define the authentication method, all those creating those logical ports. Okay, so all these details we'll be seeing in detail. So this is regarding your BSI from configuration from an EC payroll side. You have to do all these things, and the certain activities you have to do in the BSI tax factory SaaS. Means that will be a website, the website which I have told you earlier. In that website, you will be registering. If you have not registered for the first time, then you have to configure certain things. What are the connections you have made in the EC payroll? Okay, that you have to define there. Okay. So once everything is done, then you have to synchronize the tops, that is your tax update bulletins, whatever the recent release, whatever there. If it has not been synchronized, you have to synchronize those tax update bulletins and all. And from your implementation guide point of view, whichever document which I have sent earlier, there is around not much, around 20 pages, 20 to 25 pages of document. That is a detailed documentation, page number 1485 to 1510, that you can refer. That is dedicated for your BSI SaaS offering solution, how to integrate those. So I will not be going details of that, but I have taken the steps, whatever the steps you are mentioned in that guide, I have explained to here. So we'll be seeing, coming slide, we'll be seeing that what are the different integration steps. The first and foremost, how to register with BSI. Suppose you have already have the BSI credentials with you, okay, then you have to certain things are prerequisites. Okay, so for that you need to go to your provisioning, that is your SuccessFactors backend system. Okay, from that you need to go to your company settings. Okay, after that you have to set up the admin username. Okay, it most probably it happens, suppose if you are using the same admin, whatever you are using in for EC payroll or EC, then you may not require this step because already an admin has been created, and that admin will be taking care of your EC payroll, this PSI part. Okay, so in that case you may not require. Okay, otherwise if you're doing it for the first time, everything is new, EC payroll, everything is new. So then this is a common step actually. It's not specific to BSI, but you should have an admin user and you set up those admin username, password and all. So this is the way we create a admin in for the first time, because we do not have access to SuccessFactors instance immediately. So once you set up this admin, then you can log in using that admin to your SuccessFactors instance. Okay, so this is the first time or one-time activity you have to do. Okay, so once you have done that, now you got your access to your SuccessFactors instance. So, okay, as soon as you got your SuccessFactors instance and you log into system, then you start typing in the search bar saying BSI text profile factory. As soon as you start typing BSI, there is only one link there. Okay, it will land you here. Okay, so it will be you'll be getting an interface like this. And in this, the most important part is if there is a help guide also available, like the BSI guide. It is same the way which was I have explained to you, that is the 20 to 25 pages. Okay, it will take you that particular link. Okay, and second one is internet admin user. Okay, who will be actually taking care of your BSI part. Okay, that ID just you have to search it. Okay, so in my case it's Anya Singh, and ID is SF admin, administrator SML user ID, and she is actually, once you search for that ID, system will check whether that user is having all the permissions of your EVS payroll BSI or not. Okay, system will check that. Okay, and this permission check, it will say like this user has all the permissions needed to perform BSI administrative tasks after the registration. Okay, so in this way you can check. Otherwise, if you have given the permission already, then he or she will be able to access those integration part. Okay, so in this way we can control it. Then next one is the your BSI website. Okay, the earlier website which I have told you, that is a generic website. But when it comes to your specific customer specific portal, you will be finding this way, like that is a my BSI, mybsiconnect.post.com. And once you are having access to your user ID you have received from password from BSI team, okay, then you will be just logging into the system, and the stuff that is very easy. Just you have to say this is my success factor, this thing, and you have to just make a connection there. Okay, so as I do not have this connection, this user ID and password, I can't show you the inside the system, but it is very simple, the same way we register for something at the any other social media and all, very easy. Okay, very intuitive as well, but you have to have valid customer user ID and password for this. Okay, the next part, most important part, once you have done all these activities, we will be going with the SaaS integration inside your EC payroll. Okay, inside EC payroll there is a dedicated business function for this. You have to just log in through via transaction code SF05. Once you go there, you will be seeing this business function which says HCM underscore LOC underscore CLD underscore 1. Okay, and it is for your BSI SaaS integration for employee central payroll. Okay, so you have to activate that. Okay, so this is the primary prerequisite, other than the creating the admin and user and all. You must activate it. Okay, so once this activity has been done, then there is something called inside your really setting up the web services. Okay,
Sorry,
so
what's the specific function of this? Just for ECP payroll?
this is for your EC payroll only. If you are using BSI on premise, you do not require this. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's just
Only
for ECP payroll. That's all we need to activate here.
Just for EC payroll, because we have already trained you inside your EC payroll. So for that reason, I'm focusing on this part. Okay. Anyway, EC payroll means if it is the on-premise payroll, there is a different way of doing that. I will show you directly in the on-premise system. Okay. Nothing much there. But
I don't know much about what's going on here. But what of the payroll control center? Why is that not being activated?
Which one?
You see the top two, say payroll control center. Are those in EC? Are these EC? Those are EC. Those are the employee central components.
No, these are employee central payroll only. Those are activated. You can see that those are yellow color. These are all activated, right?
Oh, no, that's what I mean. So do we activate those ones, or we only just activate this one that is circled?
All these things to be means activated, Andy. Low.
All of them. All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I was wondering because I saw that one that is circled. I thought that was the only one.
No. Here in this
Oh,
topic, actually, I'm focusing on the BSI part, right? So for that reason, I've highlighted this. This is to identify which is the business function name. Okay.
yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
whichever business function I told you during our payroll control center session, all those will be activated. Okay. So that is a thing like
yeah.
starting from 502 till 107, whatever is there. Okay. Those things you have to activate. But if you're using US payroll, then you have to do an additional activity like
Okay,
this
okay,
business function, which is
okay.
for BSI SaaS integration. This
Yeah,
must be active. Okay, otherwise you'll not be able to perform anything inside your BSI calculations and all. Okay,
I got you now. I got you now.
you got it right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Then next point is this one also we have seen in our web service setup and all in EC payroll. Where, so same activity, there is a certain activity called SOA management, SOA manager. The transaction code is SOA manager. Okay, if you log into your EC payroll system and you type SOA manager, then it will take you to a web page, and in this web page there is something called simplified web service configuration. Okay, so this you can do it. Otherwise, it is very simple. Otherwise, generally integration consultants also come into picture if you need some help from them. Otherwise, nothing much is there. Once you go inside this simplified web service configuration, you will be, there is only two tick box. Okay, so inside there are two things: configuration and API settings. You do not have to do anything inside the configurations. Only in the API settings, okay, you have to just tick this basic authentication and X.509 certificate authentication. Okay, once you do it, you have to save it. So what does it mean? Why we are doing it? Because BSI, as you know, it is a third party outside of Siemens software. Okay,
Yeah.
so by clicking this, we are just authenticating, like SAP is authenticating that this is a valid authentication, and we can communicate via this web services. Your EC payroll can communicate with your BSI. Okay, so that is the only purpose here. And certificate authentication to just to validate, like whether it is a valid subscription or valid certificate. Okay, just for that purpose we require this. Okay, so this is very simple. Nothing much you have to code or nothing like that. You have to
Okay.
just tick box, tick
Yeah.
this, and you have to just save it. Okay, this is the only simple step. Then next comes your on premise. Okay, so here this one I'll be showing you in my system. So basically, whenever you go to
So
US payroll under the tax, any question here, Andy? Yeah,
so
okay.
the is so these previous ones were in ECP. Is that correct?
Yes, all over whatever I'm showing you now, all these are in ECP only.
ECP. So now we are going to the on-premise system.
It is the same system, like in the same EC payroll system only. Okay,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
the interface is looking like different because I've taken a screenshot from a different GUI. Okay,
But this
the
is
GUI,
this is IMG. That's what I'm saying.
same IMG. Yes, IMG only.
Okay.
So inside IMG, you will be seeing this option, the system which access which I have given to you. Okay. So in that you will be finding this thing, SAP BSI interface, and there is something called BSI Tax Factory on-premise server connection. So for on-premise also, we have certain kind of activities to be done. Okay. So that you can take help from an SAP basis consultant to set up that. Okay. But this is the node which exactly you have to configure. Okay. All those setup and all.
The
So this is how
interface.
the yes, the on-premise interface, how it will look like. But I will show you in the system how it looks like exactly. So this is for, there is a dedicated text factory for configuration for on-premise. Okay, so you can clearly see this is an on-premise server connection, but the system which I have given to you, that doesn't have a EC payroll connection. That node is not there. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the next screen is actually I have taken from my system. Okay, so this is the system at, you can see there are two things: SAP BSI interface, BSI tax factory on-premise, as well as BSI SaaS. Okay, so we will be for EC payroll. Okay, we will be using this BSI SaaS. So in that case, you don't have to do anything inside your on-premise. That on-premise you can skip it. Only whatever it is there for BSI SaaS integrations, those all configurations you have to maintain. So if we go inside BSI SaaS, so there are
If there is an on-premise system that is linked to ECP, how do I put it? If there's ECP that is linked to an on-premise system or that is being linked to the ECP, which one do you configure in that case? Do you configure both of them or you just do the SaaS only?
That is not a case mostly, Andy. Suppose if you are planning for an EC payroll in system, we do not have a separate on-premise. The system
That's
which you
true.
are using,
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
the
I
system which
understand.
you are using as a EC payroll system, that is only an on-premise system. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
generally, you do not have another third party, another instance of the same. Okay. So inside the same thing, only BSI SaaS will be more than enough. You do not have to do any configuration inside your on-premise part. Okay.
Sure.
So
Sure.
there is a straight way. It is like a 0 or 1 thing. Okay. Like either you are using a on-premise or you are using a SaaS offering, not the both.
Okay. Is it the same steps for the BSI for on-premise?
No, on-premise is little different. Okay, so
Okay.
you do not have a concept of this thing like your web services and all. Okay, so that I will show you that the system itself you will be able to understand. Okay, but
Yeah.
again, when I'm saying the system,
Can I just appeal because I don't think ECP has really caught on in the US yet.
okay,
So while I want to learn this, really definitely I want to start with the SaaS, but because I don't know what percentage, but I think the major percentage will still be under on-premise.
No, anyway, I will cover both for that reason.
Okay.
I will be covering both. Okay, but primary focus means why I have given to SaaS because it is the future. Okay,
Yes,
so
exactly.
it is yeah, so it is the future, and many today or tomorrow, all the people will be they slowly they will be moving towards the cloud. Okay, so there's no options, other options they have left.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
so definitely for that reason, my primary focus is on the SaaS offering. Then anyway, after this, I will be covering the on-premise as well. But on-premise is relatively easier, means nothing much is there. So that I will cover anyway.
Okay.
So inside the SaaS again, there's nothing much. You have to just maintain those services. Like inside SaaS, as we have discussed, there are two integrations. One is related to your text factory, another related to your text profile factory. Okay. When I say text profile factory, it is the employee data, employee profile that is your connected to EC, and there is something called tax factory. It means all of your tax related data will go there. Okay. Once it is done, then you have to define the user credentials. Okay, what are the credentials you have created in your BSI tax factory? Okay, that you have to maintain those user ID and password so that they will communicate to each other. Okay, so in that way we do. And there is some testing tool also, like whether your communication is correct or not. Okay, means the connection is established or not. Okay, that you can test it from here directly. Okay, so that I will take you through. So whenever you're maintaining the web service credentials, so here you will be having a three types of system. Okay, like whether it is development and quality and production prod. Okay, so you have to maintain which because mostly the quality and production we test it, quality we test it, and production we directly run it. Okay, so here you have to maintain your whatever user ID and password you have received from BSI. Okay, that you have to maintain, and SAP always maintain one level less also, but we are currently in text factor 11.0. Okay, but due to some reason you have not upgraded your system, you are still using the text factory 10.0, then you can choose this text factory version 10.0. So in that way you can relate to it. But when I was going through the blog, recent blog from SAP official blog, so they were telling like BSI text factory 10.0, it will be decommissioned around 2021 January. Okay, so we have another 6-7 months left. Okay, so then if people will be going for this. Still, people have most of the people in the clients I have seen they have upgraded already to BSI Tax Factor 11.0, and it is an ongoing process. Like every time BSI upgrades, so in the maybe in the next 1 year or 2 year, you will be seeing Tax Factory 11.0 is the old one and 12.0 is the latest one. Okay, so that keeps going, and that's very dynamic. Okay, depending upon your tax related rule changes and all. Okay. But the concept remains the same. Here exactly you have to whatever we are mentioning that node, right? So you have to maintain these credentials, user ID and password here. Once it is done, then you're regarding your text profile factory. Again, you have to maintain the same thing here. Like One is for text profile, another is for a text profile factory. Okay, because there are two different products from an BSI point of view. Text profile is a different product. Text profile factory is a different product. Okay, even if it is from the belong to same company.
Niladri,
That thing we have to mention.
Niladri, where do we get for these two, for the profile and for the factory itself? Where do we get this information of username?
That you'll be getting from BSI directly. Once you have your valid registration with BSI, okay,
so
they will be providing.
They will provide this information.
Yes, they will be providing all this information. For that reason, I have not mentioned in this because I do not have a valid. Okay, so in this configuration, I have not maintained anything like credential or data set. Okay, so they will be providing all this information, and that will be different for different, maybe different for different system for development, quality, and productions. Okay, so you'll be getting different set of those credentials. Okay, that you need to connect with your BSI team. Okay, and they will be providing you. Just you need to maintain them inside your EC payroll. That's the thing. Okay. So once these things are done, then you can relate it to your data set. Okay, that is your there is another credential set of for data set credentials. Okay, same thing we have to maintain it here, user ID, password, and confirming the password, and the text factory, the SAS data set. SAP will be providing the text related data set. Okay, so this is the data set for this year. Okay, so they will be providing that. Okay, so once it is maintained, then you will be seeing this traffic signal as a green, because at present I have not maintained anything, so it is showing no credentials are maintained yet. Okay, otherwise it will be green. Okay, so once it is done, then you can test it. Yeah, so there's a report. This is not a report exactly, like the transaction which you have seen earlier, the fourth one. Okay, it will be just execute. Suppose if you are using text factory 11.0. Okay, so you have to choose that and you can execute. It will connect it to your specific ABAP program, and it will say whether it is your connectivity is established or not. That it will say. So this we can use. Other than that, there are some optional configuration. Okay, like there are some deactivate BSI SAS integration, but it is not very much. I have not used much because this is used actually. Suppose if you have done some mistake, okay, during your configuration. So how to troubleshoot that they have explained here. Okay. Otherwise, there is a provision to troubleshoot and provision to correct that. So in that case, you have to deactivate the older connection and you have to establish a new connections. Okay, but I have not used this much. Most of the connections.
Sure.
These are all optional thing. Okay, like there are some customized, some country grouping version. Okay, there are certain values to be maintained. Okay, some tax version specific to your. So if you're using some older version, okay, so how those calculation will be done. So these are actually some optional configuration. So the initial 4 which I have mentioned to you, those are compulsory, mandatory. And if you want some additional thing, there are certain process features of additional thing, but these are not mandatory. Like decision tree, suppose you have some complicated scenario. Okay, so which version to use and all, but this is very outdated now, because 10 BSI we are not using much, but we are now in 11.0. Okay, so if you're using the old one, then certain functionality is there. Okay, do not have to worry about it. And there are certain payroll parameters also, like if anything is required. Okay, but that is not relevant for us, because this is for your older version, like you can see 8 version 8 version 9. But anyway, these are old things, but you do not have to worry about, because we are now, it is no more supported these things, but just for information I've given. And other than that, yes, next one is once your setup is done, then regarding the tax calculator, regarding, as I was also mentioning, regarding your tax locator, right? Tax locator, what it does regarding, it is different product again, which is inbuilt inside your tax profile and tax profile factory. Okay, you have to add states where BSI tax locator is active. Okay, so in this configuration, basically wherever you have taken, suppose out of 50, you have taken, suppose 10 states, you have a BSI tax locator they have already purchased, then you have to just add those states inside your configuration. Okay, so that is the thing.
If the state, if it's in one state, just put the one state. But if you're a company in about 4 or 5 or 10 states, you put these 10 states in here. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so in that case, what will happen? It will not recognize. Suppose depending on, suppose if you're not using this, okay, so that will be a manual activity from the zip code. Otherwise, if you're making this activity from your employee's address, the zip code itself, system will understand which tech state you belong to. Okay, automatically it will take those data and all. But if you're not using, then you have to manually configure all those things. But ideally, people take this BSI text locator as well. Okay, that will be part of your configuration, like your BSI text profile and text profile factory. Okay, so you have to just add those specific states to that. Okay, nothing much here. If it is already activated and if it is in the standard offering, then you do not have to do much there.
Okay.
That is the only. So this is the same thing. Once it is done, you have to just start the test program. Okay?
Yeah.
Then once everything is done, this is our familiar and my favorite tool, the check tool, okay, which you have seen in the EC payroll as well.
Yeah.
You have to go back to your SuccessFactory EC, your check tool. Okay, so from that you choose your payroll application, payroll information, and there is a specific code for your BSI. You have to just select that integration to BSI text profile factory. Okay, then you run that check tool, and if it is green, that means you are good to go, and your all those settings, whatever you have configured, all those are consistent. Okay, so that is the way you can understand the connection is established in connection. So once it is done, another set of configuration, we have a small configuration you have to do in the payroll unified configuration. Okay, so there is a country specific unified configuration, and that's the upper part we have already discussed, like payroll system URL, that is for your payroll control center, your payroll system client ID, your make status. Similarly, for your BSI configuration, you have to make it yes, okay? Like enabling access to the BSI text profile factory. Okay, so that once your configuration is established in the EC payroll side, here also you have to make it as a yes. You have to enable that access to BSI text profile factory, and for the identity provider URL. So for the BSI text profile factory, that IDP will be provided again by BSI. That URL you have to update here, okay? So that there will be in sync between your BSI text profile factory as well as your EC payroll. Okay, so this is just for a connection. This is a one-time activity. You do not have to change it multiple times during your implementation. This is a one-time activity you have to perform. But these are important one. You do not have to skip it. Okay, so now I'll be going to the lab system. I'll be showing the practically how these things are done. Okay, so in the next upcoming session, we'll be seeing tomorrow. We'll be seeing benefits, then garnishment, followed by finance posting. These are the three upcoming important topics which we'll be discussing. Then now let me move to the system. I will show you.
Okay.
I will stop for recording and I will tell you.
This conference will now be recorded.
So now I will go to SPRO. Inside SPRO, so whatever we have discussed till now, those are actually from the SuccessFactor EC payroll SaaS offering side. Okay. Now I will tell you what are the things you have to configure inside your on-premise. Suppose if you are using a on-premise BSI. Okay. So how we will be doing the set of those configurations. Okay. So for that, I need to go to payroll, then payroll US, payroll US. Then next I have to go to inside your tax. Then there is something called the SAP BSI interface. Okay. So inside this BSI interface, first one, that is your BSI text factory on-premise server connection. So in this system, we are not seeing this that SaaS node, but once you have EC payroll in place, you have license of those, then you will be seeing there is an additional line item here, which one I have already shown to you. Okay, that you will be getting, which says BSI SaaS. But inside the BSI tax factory, you will be having these two options, like specify location of the tax factory. So basically, if you go there, it will tell those connections. So those connections you have to maintain, and you can take help from your. This is basically RFC connection. Okay, so this is we call it RFC connection between your on-premise SAP system, on-premise SAP US payroll system to the BSI. They communicate each other via RFC. So in EC payroll, we communicate each other via web services, okay, web services or API. But or on-premise, the configurations, so the connectivity is established via your RFC. Okay, so you can see for this connectivity, you can always take help from your basis person because they are too technical. Okay, for this ABAP connections, for this there are 7 varieties of connections here. ABAP connections, there are some HTTP connection for external server. Okay, so you have to see and ensure this as for the latest guideline. So if you are using 10.0 or 11.0, this connections must be established. Okay, so you have to ensure. So this is already established in this system. Okay, so you have to just verify from your SAP base system. Okay, but you do not have to do an R&D here because you may end up doing something wrong. Okay, so I would recommend.
Yeah, this is a technical thing. Do they expect functional consultants to do this?
No, ideally not. Okay, so but it is not very difficult as well. Okay, like if you okay, so you can see there is something called generate RFC callback. Then you have to just execute that. Okay, then you just put a log, just a date here, so and so date and so time. Okay, you have to just save it. Okay, so certain activities you can also do. Okay, but I will make sure if you are not confident enough, rather it is an ideal typical job of your integration consultant or an ABAP. Okay, you can take help from technical consultant. You may take help from them. Okay, and just a one-time activity, so you have to take help from them. Nothing much, but it is ideal. So now it is saying RFC callback check is not secure. So till that time it is green, you have to maintain all those configurations. So all those details you'll be finding in the note itself. Okay. So this is the way you can establish the connection or specify the location of the tax factory inside this. The next one is specifying the personal data treatment. Okay, so when I say personal data treatment, again, this is already pre-configured. Like the country grouping is 10 for US payroll. Okay, and the start date it is maintained here 1st of 2014. It may not require. Suppose if you're starting from say 2020, you can just maintain that. Okay, so nothing much here. Then it will generate. Suppose as I was mentioning, so it will generate a TR, transport request. Okay, so you can create a TR, saying transport request saying US payroll PYUS BSI connection. So then you just save it. So for any kind of changes, it is always suggested in a single transport request, you maintain all of your configuration so that you do not have to remember all this transport request. Okay, you just make one transport request, all the setup, all the configuration, you do it. Then you ask your SAP BSI, SAP base system to move that once everything is fine. So you can move that settings transport request to your quality and production. This is the second configuration. Then other than that, there are some couple of 4-5 nodes. Okay, like you are just maintaining the text factory versions. Okay, so at present it is the 10, right? Suppose if you are upgrading from a particular date, say I am saying for a particular date, say I think there is the copy options here. This is actually the news GUI. Even I am also finding little tricky.
Yes, a bit funny looking.
It is actually looks like a mobile. Okay, so in the top you'll be saying this 3-line item. Okay, so it is looking like little. Even actually it was a mandate for the last 1 month to use the new GUI because they have decommissioned the old GUI in my.
Oh my God! Yeah, I keep fiddling around looking for my old icons.
Those icons are not there. Those colorful icons are not there. So everything is written here. More of a. So I'm also little learning this. This is just like purchasing a new mobile and you are just trying it out. Same here. So you can try it here. Okay, so in this way you can copy it. So at present I do not have this version 11 in my system. Okay, so for that reason it is not allowing me. Otherwise you have to just maintain that configuration. Like once you have upgraded, suppose say 1st of January 2020, you are moving to the version 11 of the BSI. Okay, so that factory you will be just upgrading. This is very simple, nothing much here. Okay, so this is a version maintaining. So where exactly you maintain and update your versions. Okay,
Yeah, but this could also be this particular step can actually be a year-end step.
Yes, exactly. Your point is correct. So this one of your note, whichever blog which I have told to you, they must have said in that blog you have to maintain this configuration. This is a part of your year end. Okay, before we start your year end. Okay, so you have to do that. Same goes with your next one also. So this is for your tax factory version for customizing settings. Next one is your for master data and a tax calculation. So in this also you have to maintain that particular version. It is a similar to your feature. It is one of the feature. Okay, so you have to just maintain this feature, and you can make as per the note. Even I didn't go through that note each and everything. So whatever the notes they have mentioned something, then you have to maintain this. Okay.
Sorry,
So
what is this feature about? I don't understand.
yeah, this feature actually it is all about your. If you see the note again, so they have maintained a lot of things. So like it's a text factory related master data maintenance. Okay, so this feature actually you can specify like company code, personal area, personal sub area, all those details. Okay, so I think they have even I have not used this one because mostly I deal with SaaS offering. Okay, this is also a little new for me. Like this feature I have not used earlier also. So I think they have you can go through this document like execute this activity the needs of your company. The versions of the feature can be only applicable to lower than version. If you are using lower version, then they have some additional thing they have mentioned. But ideally, this is for BSI tax factory version for master data BSI tax calculations. This can be either tax factory version in the instant from BSI. You can use more than this tax version for master data. Okay, I got it now. So basically, what they are saying. So it may happen in your customer setting. Till BSI Factory 9.0, it was not there. So for that reason, I am new to this version as well. So you have 10 onwards. If you are using BSI Tax Factory 10 onwards, they allow to maintain more than one Tax Factory versions. Okay, simultaneously. Okay. So you can transition. This can be done during your transition period as an year-end activity. Okay, from one version to the other versions. Okay, but at the same during that interval SAP will support both the versions. Okay. So in that case, what you will do, you have to specify the tax factory version to be used in that particular activities. Like suppose today you do not have a time for upgrading to all the organization. Okay, you can mention like for this personal area, for this company code, you can go with 10.0. For remaining tax area, you can go for 11.0 for the time being. Okay, that provision actually it is very new. Okay, so they have not given earlier because earlier one I have worked for tax 9, 8 believe long back, but 9 onwards actually they have given this this can coexist. These two versions can coexist at the same time. So that is also new for me. Okay, so that is the new thing you can.
What's the name of this feature? Does it have a name?
10 BSI, I think 10 BSI something, 10 BSI feature. Okay. So inside this feature, okay. So you can see it, but nothing is maintained here at present. As per the guide, I think you have to follow the guide.
I'll follow the guide. I'll check the guide and see how it's done.
So in that SAP note, they might have mentioned, but if you're already using 11.0 for every part of your every personal area, company codes of your organizer, you may not require it. So it's an optional thing. Okay. Having said that, the next one is regarding your messaging. So this is again these are different optional thing. You can use it. Like it is always country grouping 10. So inside you can. This is again different payroll parameters. But I have to see is there anything specific for your BSI? Let me search it. These are all specific to your US payroll constants. I think someday you are talking about this payroll parameter, right? So for different organization, different
correct.
Specific to your US, they have given this constant values. I think this is the one. TXEST, BSI employee status parameter. You can, as per the recipe recommendation, you can maintain it. TXEST. That is your BSI employees status parameter. If what they have mentioned, I need to see. I think they have not mentioned anything. Suppose the note says something like you have to maintain this, then you have to
Okay,
come here
okay, okay,
and you have
okay.
to just maintain that value here. Nothing much.
Yeah, you
Okay.
come here only if they ask you to do, not.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So they have given all the provision here. Only thing is you have to read that note and you have to come here. Otherwise, from here also you can see what are the possible values. Okay. So if you
Yeah.
just click that I button, so it is basically saying if it is 0 for diagnostics and initial install, all message shown information, assumptions, legality and all. 3 or higher for live runs, only failures and fatal systems errors will. Okay, I understood. So if you're maintaining value 3 here, okay, then that will be in your production environment. In the production environment, you maintain it is for 3, that is saying for live run, and if it is 0, that is for diagnostics. Diagnostics means in the testing environment, you are just testing the things, all the things, okay, that you can maintain it here. This is just an employee status parameter to calculate and all. So refer to BSI tax calculate documentation. So for details, what are the possible values? Okay, so how these values will be derived? So these values actually, you can go to this website, that is a BSI official website, bsi.com. You can refer that website and you can see what are the possible values much here. Okay. So this is another point which exactly we maintain the level of messages and all. The next one is your determining the employee type parameter. So here exactly depending upon your state, work tax area we maintain. So somebody has already tested it for California, so you can see the respective values, what are the different tax values for that, and same is goes with your state of Ganesh and all. And otherwise, if nothing, by default you can maintain. So this is another feature 10 double ET, but again it is up to you which one. It is not mandatory to use, depending upon your requirement and any specific scenario, or recipe recommends support certain nodes to apply, then you have to come back here and you can utilize it. But these are good to have. These are good to have features and all. Same next one is goes with your maintain estimated quarterly gross wages. So here what we do, if you go to this specific node, for you can maintain an table like this is for a reference. Like you can maintain like what is the tax company, in that tax company what is the tax type you are using, okay, and what is the estimated, means it's just it may not be an accurate figure, okay. So for any kind of reporting purpose, suppose I'm using a particular value, what are the different suppose I'm using for California,
Yeah.
suppose I go for CA,
Yeah.
then say text type. So text type can be your withholding tax or anything, 89 different entries. I
Yeah.
choose one. Then I will just put a start date, say 1st of January 2020 to say, as it is saying a quarterly date. Suppose I'll be maintaining for 31st March 2020.
Yes.
And for that, the estimated calculation, say, I'm just putting a random figure, some 1 lakh something, and I will just save it. So in this way, you can. This will be helpful to maintain estimates. And this is a not accurate figure. Okay, suppose in the future, so you're expecting something, and what is the actual? You can maintain this estimate, but it is
that is assuming you are just chasing. You want to make sure maybe you are trying to establish a benchmark.
yeah,
Say,
yeah.
I want to
So it is
know.
similarly. Okay. So actually, it was also very new. It was previously not there. Whenever I was doing a long back, this node I was not aware of. Okay. So here in this section, if you see the note, okay, you'll be seeing like as of a BSI tax factory 10 onwards, BSI requires employers to send a BSI tax factory their prior quarter's total payroll gross. Okay, it's some kind
Okay.
of if you are mentioning the benchmarking or it can be a comparison point of view, you may
Yeah.
require. Okay.
Yeah.
So for that reason, you can maintain this for that estimation kind of thing, an estimation.
Okay.
So you can maintain all those. Suppose there is a new hiring. Okay, so that suppose there is a bunch of new hire, say 10 or 20 people, and there are some new deviation in the chain. So that you can come back here and you can see how that deviation is coming up. So it may happen due to some reason, like it can be a salary hike also. Okay, so like you can see the last line. So you can see, for example, there is a hiring or there is a salary increase of a lot of employees. Okay, then in that case, this will be helpful to understand those calculations and all. So regarding this on-premise configuration, this much is there. Other than
Okay.
that, if any additional enhancement is required, okay, for synchronizing any tags that are done, you can use this body. So for body, you require an adapter definitely.
Yeah.
So why body is required and all. So to implement this body in the body, what are the technical information is there? It is already mentioned it here. Okay, so you
Okay.
can send these details to your adapter. If any customization is required, if it is in scope, okay, then he can validate that, and you can utilize this text related body. Okay. Other than that, so I will tell you something here. Tax authorities is not required. There is another configuration which I forgot.
Okay.
But let me go back to the system. So same thing is applicable. Certain things are common for both. We see SaaS
Okay.
offering also you'll be finding certain things. So there is nothing much. In SaaS,
Yeah.
we will be having extra, some additional 2-3 extra step for those web-based configurations and all. Other than that, it is nothing much. This is only.
Okay. Okay.
So I think I was afraid actually if I missed something. Just let me. This much only is there. Another. Let me explore. Otherwise, just a minute. Text. Yeah. So this was I was talking about. Uh, so in the text after this configuration, okay.
Mhm.
So you have to define like whatever the BSI related tax. There are two configuration again inside your tax companies. If you go, there is something called define BSI tax company. So if I
Okay.
go inside this BSI tax company,
Oh.
so you are just mapping the company code to your tax company. Means suppose tomorrow you require some additional tax company and all. Okay, so you can maintain it here. Simple, as simple as that. So according
What's is it the what's is that company name?
that is a company code. Suppose you are a
Oh.
one single legal, you have only one legal entity. Okay, so in that case you can use only one tax company code. Okay, suppose if you are an multiple you can say what you say that multiple entities you have, and those entities are different part of a particular group of companies you can say. Okay,
Mhm.
group of companies, you are into multiple diversified sectors. You are into
Mhm.
finance, you are into retail, you are into other manufacturing. Okay, so in that case you may have a different entities or different legal company code. In that case you can maintain different tax company code here by coming into this particular place. Okay, you can establish those company code here. You can configure that, define that. And once you have
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember if company name or company code. What is the relationship between company code and tax? Is it
hmm,
is there where we assign company code to the tax company?
not exactly. So basically, what happens? So whatever BSI tax company code, there is a dedicated tax company code for this. Okay. So there is no connection as well. So like it will understand. So in the next step, if you will see, you will understand. Okay. There is something called defined TIN. That is the tax identification numbers by BSI tax company. Okay. So this is sample example. They have given employee information number. This is sample they have given employee ID. Okay. So in this way you can establish, but there is no such because system will takes care because it's already taken care by your these things or BSI. Okay, you do not have to establish those things. It will directly taking from your zip code. Okay, whatever zip code or whatever tax company name you have mentioned here. This is
Yeah,
actually
because
series of
I just didn't understand what is TC. I don't think we have configured TC0 or TC01 before. So I wasn't quite sure where it came from.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't understand. Yeah.
So here exactly we first to configure those text company, and there is one node you can see to answer your queries how it is connected, because this is not directly at the level of this tax code and company text company, not at the organization company code level we define it. We assign it at a personal area level. Okay, so for that reason you will be finding this node. Okay, assign text company to the personal area. Okay, so whatever text company you have defined, okay, you are just assigning to a particular personal area depending upon your where exactly you're located. Now you can see, like in this tax company called TXCO. Okay, if I go to that particular tax company, whatever you have defined, like TC00, TC00, TC01, TC02, you
Oh,
make
okay.
connection to your personal area, not at the company code, because it may happen your organization is spread across 20 different locations in US. Okay,
Yeah.
you might have one company code, but as per the US policies, the 20 different locations will be having their different tax calculations, right? Okay, so to make that work, what SAP has done, so it is connected not at the legal company code level, rather they have maintained at the personal area sub area level. Okay, because your zip code, everything will be derived from that. Okay, so from that, okay, so in that you will be just making these connections between your respective tax company code to your personal area and sub area, not at the company code level. Okay, this is the way we establish this assignment. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so once it is done, the last one is you're defining this federal state again. Depending upon your tax company, we decide whether it is a federal, state, or local. Okay, we define that here. So I will just suppose I'm choosing a TC00. Then I can see what are the different. So here nothing is been configured. Otherwise, you can maintain those entries. Okay, so saying which tax authority will belong to which tax company. Okay, so employer ID number. So employee, it is not employee, rather than employer. Okay, so you can have different employer. Okay, so depending upon your entities and all, and you have to just maintain those. And controlling tax company means which is actually the master one, like which is the entire list will be getting, okay, which is the master tax controlling company and which is the this one. Okay, you can get it. So this is a set of configuration generally we do whenever you're dealing with a on-premise BSI setup. Okay? But having said that, certain things are common across EC payroll as well in your on-premise. Okay? So you have to then do that accordingly. But the remaining configuration we'll be seeing in the towards whenever I'll be discussing the schemas and all that I'll be discussing there. Okay, this part topic. But from a BSI point of view, on-premise point of view, this is more than enough to understand. Okay. Now always I'll recommend whenever you're getting a system, if it is a latest system, always refer these note as well. Instead of going searching something in Googling, okay, directly come to this respective node and you will be always having a notes. Okay, all these performance assistant notes. Okay, inside that you can read it, and this will be a hyperlink to those specific note if everything is there. Okay, so you can always refer. Okay, do not have to go to the implementation guide as well. Okay, so this is the way you can learn better whenever you are doing for. So this is all about for today's anything, any queries before we wind up?
No. So when we say tax configuration, it includes starting from maybe tax company, states, then you start talking about the BSI, and then it's a long list of things to configure or to verify.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
List is actually very huge in specifically in US. So specifically for whatever we have discussed right earlier, like the tax common things, the basic tax configuration, then tax report configuration, then year-end adjustment if you're doing, then your BSI. So all this goes together, and the BSI is actually the last point. Okay, like because BSI is more standardized and all, they do not have to do very much. Okay, so BSI takes care of that. Okay, so those things you have to understand the concept as well as what are the things you have to do in an implementation, as well as whenever you are upgrading your system. Okay, year end, you have to follow always, as I was mentioning, the latest blogs and the SAP notes. Okay, and in that way, this is actually a very dynamic thing in SAP also, and recommends that you have to always refer the latest notes which have been released, and you have to follow those guides and all. Okay, so in this way, this is not a never-ending learning journey. Every time you get into,
I know it's a lot. Are we still going to look at TUBs, because we just kind of touched on it a bit? How do you implement TUBs? Is it an implementation in the system, or is a support team?
So TUB actually, if you see one of the note also, okay, So TUB is actually nothing but your specific to those release only. SAP Notes covers that, so you do not
Okay.
have to do a special or specific configuration, but the SAP
Okay.
Notes take care of that. So text
Okay.
bulletin is nothing but it is part of your once you are doing you're implementing this note, right? Okay, so it will be part of that itself. You do not have to do a separate configuration for that. Okay.
So
And it is generally
there's nothing to set up in the system for TUBs as such.
nothing much, nothing much. Text bulletins actually directly covered inside your all these SAP notes as well. Okay,
Okay.
you have to just refer this note and any configuration changes are required, you have to do it. Okay, so those are the notes we have to refer and a specific note you have to whatever the series of notes which I have told to you, this
Yeah.
blog there result, and you do not have to refer the old one. Like once you are into the latest system, and ideally it is a part of your support activity, which I have seen because if you're already if your system is up and running your on-premise payroll, then these are actually part of your year-end activities and support activities, I will say. But if you're doing for the implementation, if you're a brand new customer of SAP, then you have to then that will be an implementation point of view you have to think of. But if
Yes.
it is already implemented, then this will be an support activities for any kind of typical implementations.
So
That
you
is
just apply the notes then?
yes, exactly. So this is a series of note generally takes minimum 1 month I have seen to
Oh,
including testing and everything. It's a rigorous activity. It's a joint team effort again. Not a single person can do everything. Okay.
okay.
So
Yeah.
if it is a bigger organization, then in more complexities. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll recommend to go through all this. Okay. It's
Okay.
practically not possible to go through each and every notes, but I just shown you the main one. You can refer that. And what are the prerequisite notes you have to just go through. And if you have any queries, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome. That's all for today. Tomorrow we'll be starting a new topic. That
Okay.
is your benefits, and that is more exciting by
Okay.
compared to this because tax is
Taxes.
one of the most complicated one, and
Taxes.
remaining part is more interesting. Benefits is nothing much, but you have to understand the topics. Benefits and garnishment also is more interesting. Finance
Okay.
posting is still tricky. Finance posting is more again a technical part. Okay, I will be going details in
Yeah,
that.
I was I really want to learn
Hmm.
what to do between how you set up the symbolic accounts, how you align them to wage types, and then how you, I just wanted to know that process of integration and testing of the FICO integration. That's, yeah, I really want to learn it because it's very, very common requirement for consultants here, over here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So same in India also. Like it is
Okay.
expected from a consultant to know everything about these integrations and all everything, like tax point
Yeah.
of view or integration point of view. It's everywhere
Yeah.
nowadays. People not go for any specialist for any of this thing. They want everything. You should be a full stack payroll
Oh,
consultant. You have
it's
to know
amazing.
understand.
It's incredible what they are today. Because today they are asking me because I'm applying for jobs here also, and they are asking, what did they ask for today? They were asking for artificial intelligence. I was like, what the heck?
Which intelligence?
They say artificial intelligence in HR, HROIS. I said, what do you mean? And then the other one, there was the second one, which I'm trying to see if I can get in Washington State, is asking me for Python.
Oh, Python.
I
Okay.
said, what the heck? I haven't finished. What do you mean Python?
Python actually, I have given an internship. One of the intern in one of the leading organization institute, Indian Institute of Technology, that is regarded as one of the prestigious organization. 2 years
Yeah,
back, one of the intern has worked with me, and I
yeah.
have given scenario. Even Python is basically coding, so this is related to more into people analytics. Okay, so I have given an business case to him, like he has to derive and predict the employee attrition depending
Oh,
upon the
wow.
last 5 years data. Okay, I have given the dummy data to him, and
Oh,
he was
wow.
he has written some code, but it is good for it's nothing difficult. But I lost interest in coding again
Oh my
because
God.
after what
I'm an old man. I can't do all that.
it is good to you have to different set of
I
mind
just,
because coding requires different altogether skill set.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Means I've just given in the design. This is how what I want. This is a business scenario, and you
Yeah.
have to do coding. So I have given an internship to one of the students in India. 2 years back,
Oh,
I did
good.
that. Yeah, I have seen the interface, how this is black screen it will look like. Even I can tell you, I can guide you. And regarding artificial intelligence, this is a hype actually. Means
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
days people.
I didn't even bother to ask what they were talking about because I'm not. That's
So
for my
what
son.
what people do generally, this HR folks, what they do, this
Yeah.
HR folks goes to different conference, okay, the conference, conclave, all this the conference, they talk a lot. This is actually a buzzword these days. Artificial
Yeah.
intelligence, machine learning, AI, ML.
Yeah.
Here
Blockchain and all this. I was not what the
blockchain, yes, yes. They lot they learn about it, but they can't do it themselves, right? They do it, so they look for consultants to know all these things. So that is a hype actually. But truly, especially in India, so the minor things means they have already started. But thing
Yeah.
is, unless and until you are completely data literate, if your database is not properly, you have not maintained, how you go for at least to pass your level 1, then you go for
Yes.
level, because artificial intelligence, all these things are level 5. You have to first
Yeah.
establish basic thing. Okay, so always and until you are good in that, there is no point in going for advanced thing, right?
No. There's so much to learn to serve the
Hmm,
customer without going
exactly.
to artificial intelligence.
True, true. Very true, very true. I can guide you regarding, because artificial intelligence, I was even exploring for the last 1.5 year, but
Oh, okay.
I'm getting enough time for that because of
Oh,
this
okay.
SAP and success factor. You can't do multiple things.
No, instead of me to learn artificial intelligence, the only thing I am hoping to learn, because I started training myself on it, is RPA, because I've used it in my current job in IBM, and I found it very useful because I remember a project I did in 2008, 2009 to 2010. RPA was not really there then.
Exactly, exactly.
And we
It is a very
suffered a
good
lot when we were trying to kind of develop the workflow for authorizations to do approvals for OM and PA. And we struggled a lot. We really struggled a lot. And but when I saw RPA, and I'm using it now, and I found that it's so useful and
Exactly.
and probably very easy to implement. I decided to start reading it. I've actually gone halfway in the course, but I wanted to do this one first.
Open SAP, right? Even I just registered, but I couldn't complete it. It was
Okay,
midway.
I'm more than halfway actually, because I went through all the use cases and everything, and then we started to get into some more front-end part of the design and everything.
This is really interesting. Even in payroll, also you can integrate all those things. Even I think in IBM they use IBM Watson. IBM
Okay,
Watson has
yes.
all these full features and
Yes.
all.
Yeah, there's so much to learn. But I just want to master the little I know because I want to make some money for my family.
Yeah, that is everyone's need actually. That's why we are here.
Anyway, thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah, welcome. Nice to
All right.
interact with you. Yeah,
Okay.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.